Hello everybody, hello world. This morning I'm going to read a poem. This is a poem by Rebecca Smolen, now Rebecca Bluemel. It's called Sounds of the Unconsidered. And this is after To the Rain by Ursula K. Le Guin. Here's the poem. Soft brush on skin, frothy bubbles at glass rim, never conscious of or named, regardless, still there. A calming tingle beginning at skull base, down spine, into my arms. I think if the gravity of the stars, the awe of watching vast universe go by, could be a reaction, I might want to be this. I would choose to be this. I would want to share this feeling if at a sight of me or hearing my voice or in my hug could cause this, I travel the world to offer my embrace, to spread peace or mere sensation of it. Carbonation simmering, sea foam delivered to shore, greedy bubbles in the bath. The absence of sound is similar. Your breath caught at a touch, or held at the sight of snow falling, all the noise that is silenced and cradles the weight of our heads up against each other, the sound of our eyes clenched shut, and the sound of them opening again. Poem by Rebecca Smolen, or Rebecca Bluemel. Great poem. This poem has been published. I'm putting a link to it below or attached to this somewhere so that you can read it. When you do, one of the first things that you will see is this has some unusual formatting, in that it is in two columns. There's a left-hand column and there's a right-hand column. The left-hand column is left justified, and the right-hand column is more centered, and the lines in the column are centered. So those are some interesting formatting choices. And so when I look at a poem that has some formatting irregularities or that are formatted in a specific way, I want to know so what's the difference? Is there are these things talking to each other, or we have some things on one side and some things on the other side? And so I did that with this particular poem as well. And so if we're just going to read the right-hand side, this is what you get. Soft brush on skin, frothy bubbles at glass rim, never conscious of or named, regardless, still there. I would choose to be this. Carbonation simmering, sea foam delivered to the shore, greedy bubbles in the bath. Your breath caught at a touch, or held at the sight of snow falling, all the noise that is silenced, the cradles, the weight of our heads up against each other, the sound of our eyes clenched shut, and the sound of them opening again. That's the right side. On the left-hand side, you have a calming tingle beginning at skull base, down spine, into my arms. I think of the gravity of the stars, the awe of watching vast universe go by, could be a reaction. It might want to be this. I want to share this feeling. If at the sight of me or hearing my voice in my hug could cause this, I'd travel the world to offer my embrace, to spread peace or mere sensation of it, the absence of sound, is similar. Overall, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total stanzas, 4 on one side, 4 on the other. To me, when I read through these 2 columns, things that jump out to me are, on the left-hand side, is the word want. I might want to be this, is the last line of the second stanza. And the first line of the third stanza is, I would want to share this feeling. To me, that would indicate that the things on the left-hand side are things that the person wants. Although you could have an alternate reading of this. There's lots of different ways that you can read this poem. There's lots of description on the right-hand side. There are 2 stanzas that are just single lines. On the right-hand side, second stanza, I would choose to be this. And to me, it seems like that right-hand side, as opposed to wants, are things that people choose. Wants versus choice. Having these single line stanzas, those single lines draw attention to themselves. And so I would choose to be this is something that the poet is putting forward as important. So, got to pay attention to it. I'm going to talk about that second single line in a little bit. This is a poem that's inspired by an Ursula K. Le Guin poem, To the Rain. And so when we have these inspired by, after, something that points to another work, it's worthwhile kind of going over there and taking a look. And so I have a copy of To the Rain. It's a very short poem. This is how it goes. To the Rain by Ursula K. Le Guin. Mother, rain manifold, measureless, falling on fallow, on field, on forest, on roof, on house roof, low hovel, high tower, downwelling waters, all washing, wider than cities, softer than sisterhood, vaster than countrysides, calming, recalling, return to us, teaching our troubled souls in your ceaseless descent to fall, to be fallow, to feel to the root, to sink in, to heal, to sweeten the sea. So, we could do a whole other thing on that Ursula K. Le Guin poem, which is also excellent. But to me, I think that the link to the Ursula K. Le Guin poem is probably inspirational, as opposed to sharing back and forth of elements, poetic elements. On the left-hand side, what Rebecca does with this is she has some missing articles, which makes reading some of those first 2 stanzas, specifically the first 2 stanzas, a little bit choppy, in my ear, at least. A calming tingle beginning at skull base, down spine into my arms. I think if the gravity of the stars, the awe of watching vast universe go by, could be a reaction, I might want to be this. Beginning at skull base. Now, it could be that just the lines on the right-hand side don't have the same kind of construction that would lend to having more articles or conjoining words. But when I read a calming tingle beginning at skull base, down spine into my arms, as opposed to down my spine into my arms, or down whatever, it just comes a little bit abrupt. And this is on the side of the poem, which I think are wants. And so these wants may be not complete, or there's something in these wants that are just not quite, maybe not thought through. You could layer a kind of meaning on the absence of some of these articles or other connecting words not being present on that side of the deal. Okay, let's talk about the first stanza and the last stanza. Soft brush on skin, frothy bubbles at glass rim, never conscious of or named, regardless, still there. So, we start off with a slant rhyme. Soft brush on skin, frothy bubbles at glass rim. We start off with this image that is soft brush on skin, frothy bubbles at glass rim. Provocative, sexy, intimate way to begin a poem. And so you could say that the right-hand side is a more intimate side and the left-hand side is a more concrete side. You could make that argument as well. But we kind of begin with skin and bubbles on a glass rim, bubbles on a glass rim. That image is automatically kind of like a champagne kind of an image. So this is like an intimate moment between two people. We get to the last stanza. Your breath caught at a touch, or held at the sight of snow falling, all the noise that is silenced and cradles the weight of our heads up against each other, the sound of our eyes clenched shut, the sound of them opening again. Again, another kind of intimate moment between two people. It's a beautiful way to end a poem. Your breath caught at a touch, or held at the sight of snow falling, all the noise that is silenced and cradles the weight of our heads up against each other. The beautiful kind of intimate image of two people being together in the same space, breath being caught, eyes opening and closing. It's absolutely lovely. That's the last stanza. Let's go back to the second to last stanza. It's one line. The absence of sound is similar, colon. Some punctuation there. The absence of sound is similar, colon. What's that colon mean? And what's that absence of sound mean? I think what we're talking about, the colon is, I set up this statement and this is what comes after. The absence of sound. So, is the last stanza the absence of the last stanza. Your breath caught at a touch. Is this the absence of that? The noise that is silenced. Is this the absence of the noise that is silenced? This is something that you can think about for a long time if you get into this poem. I'm not going to say if I think that it is or not. I'll let you kind of work through it yourself. But I'm going to say that it's a provocative poem and one that you can sit with for a long time. If you're going to workshop a poem like this, what would you do? You could come to your page, you have 2 columns, and you can write a poem in 2 columns. On one side and on the other side, you can justify them however you want. You can play with your formatting to effect in, maybe they talk to each other, maybe they're arguing against each other, whatever it might be. Playing with formatting is fun if you're writing, and so that might be an option for you. Anyway. Sounds of the Unconsidered by Rebecca Smolen, and now Rebecca Bluemel. We'll see you next time.